Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, you are really welcome. I'm Jane, my husband Mike does everything behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany and northwest France. And every Wednesday we invite you in for a midweek money chat. Now I am aware that this video and future upcoming videos are going to have a very personal slant on it because we're leaving this property and we are off to Aude in the south of France in a few weeks, in a very short period of time. And this week we're going to be sharing with you, and again, like I said, it's very personal. This video might not be for you, but if you are interested, stay with us. I'm sure some of you might find this very interesting, of how we are going to make do and mend in our future property. I apologise to those of you who already know this, but we will not be taking anything from this house other than our personal things. Personal things that we use all of the time, and maybe a few personal kitchen items in one Ford Transit van. So we are not taking our furniture, we're not taking curtains, we're not taking anything like that. There's stuff that we are leaving at the request of the new buyer and things that we have sold or given away. And we're not taking it with us because the cost of taking it is prohibitive. It's just too much money to hire a truck. The second reason, and the most important reason, is that the house that we are buying it with its complete inventory. Lots of the furniture there, we've just been given as part of the sale. And there are other items that are another agreed inventory with things like the dishwasher, the washing machine, those type of items that we've agreed on a total price of $1,500 for that inventory. So we are going to arrive there to somebody else's taste, to somebody else's style, to somebody else's stuff. Let's get into that. You might have your own variation of what you think making do means. To some people watching, making do might be surviving the depths of poverty. To some people, making do is just the dictionary definition of where you accept the imperfect, where you accept what you have and your resources that you have, and you make the best of those resources. And that's the context in which we're going to share with you today. And I know for some of you might be listening to us and think, well, it's very, very first world problems. And yes, it is. We live in a first world. We live in the first world. And those problems are our problems. And they're not really problems, are they? They're not really problems. But we're going to be sharing with you how we're going to be just making do with everything that we will have bought, that we will be living with, and a few explanations. First of all, I'd like to share with you that obviously when we toured the property and had a really good look around, we were happy about the overall condition of the place. Of course, there will be things that are not to our taste. Some of the furniture, I don't think we would have gone out and bought. I don't think we would have chosen the kitchen necessarily. We may have chosen something different. We might not have chosen those curtains or those light fittings, but they are all in relatively good condition. Second thing that I may or may not have shared with you, this has been a holiday home for the last couple of years. It's had very light wear. Before that, it was renovated, and again, it was a holiday home before that. So the house in itself has had very light wear. As a holiday home, it is very neutral. There is nothing offensive about it at all. You know, they haven't bought purple velvet sofas. They haven't bought bright red curtains. There's nothing jarring about the place. It's all very neutral. It's very subtle. It's very holiday home. Obviously, I didn't go through the cupboards. I haven't looked at their plates. I haven't looked at their vacuum cleaner. I haven't checked their washing machine. I haven't used their dishwasher. But whatever is there, we will make do with that. Let's tell you some more. In the 30 years that Mike and I have been together, we've often moved to a new house and maybe the furniture from our last house didn't fit or it wouldn't fit through the door and we've had to replace it in some way. And nobody's got a whole chunk of money when they move house to just go out and buy new stuff. And we're not like that anyway. We are the type of people who will go out and buy a second-hand sideboard, a second-hand bed. We will put a new mattress on it, but we will make do with those things. And we're perfectly okay with that. Things don't need to match for us. We don't need a room to have a theme or a colour. We don't need to think to yourself, oh, it's an old house, or we need it in a vintage style or an antique style. We're not like that. We're just not like that. We like things that just mix and match in that kind of way, where it's just all fits in together. When nothing matches at all, it's okay. I do throw homemade quilts over sofas, so it'll all look quite homely in a very short period of time. Now let's talk about the structure of the house and things in the house and how we are going to have to learn to make do with those. The house we're leaving is a very old house, probably built in the 1800s, if not before. We have no idea. It's really bad on keeping records here. Nobody's particularly bothered about it. This house was built in that time and we've got a clear record of it. And we haven't got a clear record of the house that we're going to either. But we just know, looking at the structure of it and the age of it and the village and all of those type of things, that it's old. And it has big, thick walls, deep set windows, very typical of the south to keep the sun off the building. It's old. It's just a really old house. So we're not worried about the fact that the house doesn't have any heating system. This house here, until this year when we had it installed, had no whole house heating system. We've heated this house here with wood burning stoves. Where we are going, there is a wood burning stove, but we have been told it is not fit for purpose. Consequently, it will be replaced. But in good time, we will not immediately go in there and go, oh, we must buy a new wood burning stove or we must buy a new pellet stove. What we will do is buy portable gas heating stoves. And they're the type of things that have a butane gas bottle in them, and they are safe to use inside the house. They are very, very effective. So if we had one, and they wheel about as well. You wheel them about when they are not ignited, of course. So we could wheel it from the kitchen, we could wheel it to the dining room, we could wheel it to the living room, wherever we need it downstairs. Upstairs, we will have an office where Mike works, and we will have my sewing room. So those will probably have a portable gas heater in either of those temporarily. Now that could be forever. So it could be for 2 years, 3 years. When I say we make do until either we absolutely can't or we have the means to do something different. So let's tell you about heating and cooling where we're going. You may have seen on the weather that Southern Europe, south of France, right across all the Mediterranean countries, get hot summers. But when you drill down the figures, they don't get hot summers that are unbearable, like some areas in America, for example, where you know that you're going to have temperatures over 40 degrees for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. And therefore it is imperative for you and your well-being that you have air conditioning in your house, and I absolutely would do the same if I lived there, and I would make the economies that I needed to fund that. Where we're going, first of all, the houses are built differently. They have very thick walls, and when they get warm, they stay warm, and they also stay cool. So the difference in the temperature of the house is great. So it can be 30 degrees outside and 22 degrees inside, which is very pleasant. The house can stay cool, especially on the ground floor, with thick walls, deep inset windows to keep the sunlight off, and also with stone floors. And I've had friends who we've already made friends there say to us, if we have the temperatures that peak on certain times and it gets unbearably hot, we can go and sleep downstairs. Now, lots of those friends have told us they have no air conditioning of any kind. I can't tell you until I've lived there if I'm going to live like that. What I will say is that we will make do without it for as long as we can. And the reasons that I think that we will be able to do without it is if when we've looked at the actual temperatures of the location, that when they have had heat waves of more than 35 degrees centigrade, which is 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the average amount of days it stays at that has been 6 days. So it means there are 6-day bursts on average of high temperatures, and then the temperature breaks and it cools down for a while. Also, the nighttime temperatures do tend to drop. So we will make do without air conditioning for as long as we can. So in this house here, this room here is our bedroom. And what we have is a mobile air conditioning unit where you literally stick the pipe out of the window. And it works just fine. What we do with it is probably what we will do there, is before we'll go to bed, we would cool down our bedroom. So put it on for a couple of hours. And that will help. That will help. So the house stays cooler anyway, just like this one does, because it's a very old house. And where we're going is an old house. So it is cooler. So we're hoping to make do and mend. Oh no, there's no mending involved. With making do without a heating system installed and without an air conditioning system installed. However, and I need to put this in case in 3 years' time you go, do you remember, Jane, 3 years ago you said you'd make do? We always say we will make do until we can't, or until we've saved up for something different, or until we've costed something, or we've made arrangements for that. And we might have some air conditioning put into the house. You know, it might be very nice to have something, you know, a press of a button that you can say, the bedrooms are going to cool down, or our office will cool down, or I'll cool the kitchen down. But if we can live like most of the people there who do live, and most of the people there do not have air conditioning, because like I said, the houses are cooler anyway. So even though outside is awfully hot, inside will be much cooler.
That'll keep me warm for a few hours. So here we go.
So making do for us is about living with things that won't be perfect, that may not be to our taste, some of which we probably won't like, that we wouldn't necessarily have bought. I can definitely think of the bathrooms there, for example. They're definitely not to my taste, but they are fully functioning bathrooms and they will do. They will probably do forever once we live there. They will do. But there are some things that I'm going to share with you now that just won't do. They just won't do. Is the house that we're going to has no fly screens at all. Now, we don't need fly screens here. We don't get that many flies. But where we're going, there are more flies and there are mosquitoes. So we will be installing, the royal we, Mike, thank you, Mike. Mike will be installing some fly screens as soon as we get there. We might even pay someone to come out and fit them. We don't know. We'll look into the cost of that. And we're pretty sure it's something that Mike could make and install and we can have there. But we will not make do with flies flying around us because we're going to need windows open at night when it is cooler and we will need fly screens up to stop the moths and the bugs coming in. Thank you for watching. Thanks for following us on our soon-to-be journey to the south of France. All will be revealed when we get there. You'll have a house tour, you'll hear all about it. All those questions like, why have we bought the house the size that we bought? What are we going to do with it? All of those questions will be answered when we get there and you get to see it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Thank you for hitting the like button. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.